A young antelope slips while crossing a cracked, dry riverbed. The herd ahead keeps moving. A lion is walking quickly in its direction. The ground beneath the calf has split in multiple directions. Heat rises from the surface, burning the undersides of animals close to the ground. Every herd in the area is moving toward the nearest waterhole. They must reach it before the heat drains their strength. There is no shortcut. There is no shade. If they are slow, they will lose access. A few hundred meters away, a herd of elephants is crossing open ground. They do not stop. No individual stays behind. They stay close to a known route, crossing land that is breaking open. If interrupted, the herd will break formation and be forced to turn back. During Etosha's dry season, every path to water already shows tracks. Many routes are occupied by larger species. Late arrivals must take longer paths. Smaller groups move through exposed areas without cover. Etosha has no safe zones, no neutral paths. Every movement must be calculated. This is Etosha, and this is a day of survival. The open plains in southern Etosha are fully exposed under intense sun. There are no obstacles, no trees tall enough to cast shadows. A herd of impala is heading toward the Okandeka waterhole. They do not walk in a straight line. They are not split into front and rear formations. The herd spreads across the dry, cracked surface. They do not stop. They do not graze. They do not repeat old paths. On the edge, a group of wildebeest leaves the open zone. They turn toward low trees, separate from the main herd. They do not signal. There are no signs of threat, but their direction changes earlier than usual. On higher ground near the clearing, a male lion lies flat against the earth. It does not move. It holds a steady position to observe. The grass around it has been pressed flat. Nothing is left to conceal it. The distance is not yet close enough to strike. Below the clearing, the impala herd begins to spread wider. Some individuals separate. The rest continue straight. The space between animals starts to increase. The lion charges. Its body stays low. The herd does not react at once. There is no alarm signal. Each individual turns in a separate direction. One animal slips while turning. It falls behind by a few steps. The lion closes in. Its front legs lock onto the prey's hip. There is no sound. The prey falls. The The lion clamps its jaws around the neck. The struggle ends quickly in low brush. The rest of the herd has moved to the tree line nearby. No individual turns back. There is no group response. The lion steps back. It stands still. No other male is in the area. There is no competition. In Etosha, every successful hunt triggers a chain of biological changes. Just minutes later, vultures appear at low altitude. They do not land. They maintain a steady flight circle. The vultures do not approach right away. They observe from above, waiting for the lion to begin feeding. A swarm of flies gathers on the carcass. Dust around the body stirs slightly. The scent of fresh meat spreads with the wind. The area around the kill becomes a focal point. In the next few hours, other species arrive in sequence. Carrion-eating insects, small raptors, jackals, hyenas, certain species of ground ants. Each group arrives on its own schedule, not at once. No direct conflict. The partially eaten carcass becomes a temporary center for biological consumption. Each time an antelope is brought down, the nearby zone turns into a point of concentration. From the first predator to the scavengers to dependent organisms, all take part in the approach. Some seed-eating species return last, taking advantage of disturbed soil. Others, such as lizards and rodents, often appear shortly after. Areas where carcasses are left behind are usually avoided by large herds for some time, not because of perceived danger. But because the scent of meat, tracks, and the presence of scavenger birds change approach behavior. Routes shift, herds adjust direction. In Etosha's lowlands, an unfinished carcass will cause the area to be avoided for at least a day. This affects herbivore movement, it affects access to water, it alters population density temporarily. A successful hunt removes more than one animal. It changes behavior. It changes routes. It alters interaction patterns between species within the same ecosystem. Even without a chase, open ground remains a hotspot. Every animal watches and adjusts movement. Midday passes, the sun remains intense, heat continues to rise from the ground. Old tracks are still visible, but new dust begins to settle. The hunt has ended. The herd is scattered. The route of the next group has shifted. and many other species are now moving in from other directions. On the flat southern plains of Etosha, a herd of wildebeest is moving south. The formation is wide. They split into smaller groups, maintaining even spacing across the horizontal axis. The herd crosses over bare ground where no grass remains. Their hooves strike the dry soil, producing steady impact sounds. There are no calling signals. There is no clear leading role. They maintain spacing through movement reflex. After the last rain, a new layer of grass has begun to grow. Young shoots appear scattered, not yet forming a continuous cover. They are weak, short, and have not emerged fully above the surface layer. Still, this is the first signal that triggers migration behavior in seasonal grazers. Wildebeest are among the first species to detect the new shoots. They do not wait for the grass to grow tall. They do not wait for the ground to turn green. They begin feeding as soon as the grass breaks through the soil. Thick tongues and sharp incisors allow them to pull entire blades from the base. Their feeding behavior does not distinguish between mature and young plants. They do not select only good patches. They graze evenly as they walk. Grass is trimmed down to the soil. Roots are pulled up and exposed. Wherever the herd moves, the old vegetation is removed. Rotting plants, waterlogged stems, and dry residues all disappear. The plain is cleared. The topsoil is exposed to light. Temperature changes help reduce bacteria and pest levels. Their deep, uniform, non-selective grazing behavior removes the aged ground cover. After the herd passes, the cleared area becomes ideal for new grass to grow. The soil surface is open. There is no decaying cover holding moisture at the wrong time. Light and wind reach the newly fallen seeds directly. Dung is scattered evenly along the path. Seeds are spread by hooves, by wind, or by contact with bodies in motion. Dry dung creates a temporary moisture-retaining layer. Seeds are enclosed and protected until the next rain begins. No digging is required. No burial is needed. Only movement, feeding, and excretion in the right rhythm. When the grass ahead is depleted, the herd keeps moving. Ahead lies a shallow depression that once held temporary rainwater. No individuals enter the center of the basin. There is no probing behavior. The path adjusts automatically to avoid danger. As the sun lowers, the herd's shadows stretch across the hard ground. Each group leaves behind a trail of grazed grass. They do not destroy shrubs. They only trim low grass. The path opened is wide and clear. After several days of movement, the herd reaches the edge of land with heavy weathering. The ground shows large surface cracks. Loose stones mixed with dry mud create unstable footing. There is no shade. There is no grass layer to cushion steps. The leading animal stops at the broken edge. It does not cross. It does not continue forward. The entire herd stops in a chain reaction. No individual tries to move ahead. There is no pathfinding behavior. The broken edge stretches to a patch of dry trees. There is no safe route to follow. The herd begins to change direction. They do not turn back. They arc sideways to maintain their original bearing. Soon, the formation splits. One part stays near low grass by a leftover water source. The other part keeps moving in the new direction. From that point, each group functions as a separate unit. There is no position exchange. There is no shared rhythm. Behind the herd, the ground becomes a uniform open zone. By midday, most of the herd has moved on. Only light dust rises from the distance. Tracks remain clear. New grass has been cut completely. This land will be the first to regenerate when the rains return. No one will occupy it. No one will stay behind. They have moved on, and they have cleared the way for the next cycle to begin. Across the open grassland, a herd of zebras is spread in a fan-shaped formation. They face into the wind. Each individual points in a different direction. Their ears stand upright. Their necks remain at a steady height. No individual makes excessive movement. They are grazing. The grass here is short. It is a layer of low shoots following a late season rain. It is not tall enough to conceal, but it is soft enough to be grazed to the base. Zebras are low-level grazers. They do not select specific plants. They do not trim tips. They graze evenly, from top to bottom, from dense areas to sparse patches, from the edge of the dry stream bed to the center of the open plain. The herd does not move in a line. They spread side by side in a wide front. Each zebra keeps a fixed distance, enough for awareness, enough to avoid overlapping grazing zones. When the grass in front runs out, they step forward together. They move in a linear pattern. On the ground, hoof prints press clearly into the dry dust. There is no trampling. There is no soil disruption. They graze cleanly and move meter by meter. They clear the grassland surface without breaking it apart. Young grass has space to regrow after each pass. Because of this, zebras are considered the most effective regulators of base layer grass in the Etosha ecosystem. In a lowland area near an artificial waterhole, herds begin to gather. Not all belong to the same herd. Each group is a separate harem. It includes one adult male, several females, and young individuals following their mothers. When they reach the water, harems do not merge into a larger herd. They stop at different distances, close enough to avoid contact, but not entirely separated. They take turns approaching the edge of the water. They drink quickly, then they withdraw. There is no fixed order, but there is no chaos. Taking turns reduces contact, especially during the dry season. As water levels drop, the time spent near the water must be reduced. Each individual must adjust its drinking pace. Between harems, there is no communication. If one male approaches another group, that group turns away. In the middle of the dry season, some groups begin to leave the main waterholes. They move outward to areas that are less frequented. Grass there is taller. There are fewer tracks, but there is no water source. This is a key difference between zebras and wildebeest. Zebras can go many days without drinking directly if the grass holds enough moisture. Their bodies retain water longer. Their teeth can handle tougher, older grass without relying on soft shoots. Because of this, they can travel farther when the dry season forces other species closer to water. They reduce grazing pressure. They leave space for species with higher water needs. Prolonged zebra presence in these areas blocks the regeneration cycle. However, herds that move away from central zones play a critical role in maintaining healthy grasses at the edges. They graze close to the roots. But they do not strip entire areas. They move consistently. They do not return to the same site until the next season. This allows the lower grass layer to rotate and recover on schedule. In Etosha's ecosystem, zebras are not only prey, they are surface level cleaners. They do not cause erosion, they do not damage soil structure. But they keep the ground clear. They allow rainwater to absorb quickly. They help seeds spread. They create space for taller grazers to move in. At the end of the dry season, some herds begin to return to water points. They move slowly, not in single file, only in the direction where the wind carries moisture. When the rain begins, the ground softens again. Zebras do not stop to graze immediately. They move to areas where dense young grass once grew last season. They pause and observe. Then they begin grazing from the edge. At that point, areas that were grazed clean earlier will be the first to regrow. New grass grows upright. It is not blocked by old stems. It is not shaded by low shrubs. And there, the graze, retreat, regrow, return cycle continues. Ecological impact does not come from complex behavior. It comes from consistency. Zebras move, they graze, and they move on. Behind them is cleared ground. Ahead of them, the grass is ready to rise again. The ground near the waterhole no longer holds grass. Dry mud beneath the surface has been compacted into grayish-brown streaks. On the hardened surface, hoof prints are mixed and overlapping. Zebra, antelope, straight horns, curved horns, all have stopped here. The water has not dried up, but it is no longer cool. The surface carries a faint odor. In the distance, there are drag marks, evidence of antelope pulling back quickly after drinking. Lions are now present. In the middle of the dry season, prey herds have no alternatives. They must come to the remaining waterholes, even when danger is near. Lions do not need to chase. They only need to choose the right position. A low bush sits near the main trail. It is just tall enough to conceal the torso. The grass around it has been flattened. Only bare soil and scattered stones remain. A pride of lionesses lies along the edge of the bush. They do not lie close together. Each lioness holds a separate angle. The spacing between them forms a closed arc. There are no calls, there are no movements. They are waiting. The male lion rests a few meters away. He does not join the ambush. His role is to hold the pride, protect the territory, and block intruders. A herd of impala is approaching. They are not running, they are not rushing, but they move at a steady pace. Their ears stand upright, their eyes scan constantly. They stop at the edge of the water. A few step forward and lower their heads to drink. The others remain alert. At that moment, a lioness crawls forward. Her movement stays low. She makes no sound. Her legs remain close to the ground. Not far away, one impala lifts its head. It sees nothing unusual, but it steps back. Another moves up to replace it. The distance is now under 30 meters. The lioness holds position. She does not strike yet. She waits for an individual to break formation. When the distance closes to half, she launches. The leap needs no buildup. Her hind legs push with force. Her body stretches forward. Dust shoots backward. The ground trembles lightly. The impala herd reacts. They twist and leap instinctively, but the one at the edge is too late. The first strike does not bring it down. The lioness follows with a second bite. Her jaws clamp onto the neck. Her front legs wrap around the prey's hips. Not far away, a hyena appears. It is alone. It stands and watches for a moment. It does not charge. It does not retreat. Lions are the dominant predators. They need large quantities of meat to support the pride, but leftover remains still attract scavengers. Through this process, the decomposition chain continues. No carcass stays long. No bone remains after a day. Hyenas, vultures, small foxes, all arrive after the lions. Blood trails stretch across the ground. Insects begin to follow. Each kill creates a secondary food chain, from the top down. When the lions leave, the remains are consumed within hours. No bones, no fur, no blood stains. But not every hunt is successful. Lions are not the most efficient hunters. Their success rate in stalking attempts is around 1 in 5. But through strategy and group power, they remain dominant. Etosha's terrain helps them during the dry season. The grass is low, the bushes are sparse, the visibility is wide, but this also makes prey more alert. In the Okondeka region, lion prides begin to shift tactics. The distance is shorter, the decision time is faster, the odds are better. As the sun leans west, the lions retreat into the nearby shade. They lie motionless on the hot ground. They do not seek another target. One successful meal sustains the pride for several days. One failed hunt weakens multiple individuals. In Etosha, every waterhole carries risk. Every path shows tracks from multiple species. No place is neutral. On the dry ground near the western waterhole of Etosha, large footprints are pressed deep into compacted dust. They are not the small hooves of antelope. They are not the round marks of elephants. The prints are broad, deep, rounded, and appear in pairs. A black rhinoceros has just left the area. The water near the hole has receded. Mud remains only along the edge. No species dares to step deeper. Before the sun shifts, no animal enters that space. The black rhino appears from the thickets. Its thick skin flakes with fine layers of dust. The front horn leans slightly to one side, long and pointed. The rear horn is shorter, standing rigid on the forehead. It walks slowly. Each step presses firmly into the soil. The surface beneath its feet sinks with every movement. No species approaches as it enters the waterhole. Impala individuals back away. Zebras veer off to the side. Several wildebeest turn in the opposite direction. There is no display of threat. Its presence alone clears the space. The rhinoceros moves to the edge. It lowers its snout. It does not splash. It drinks in one long pull. Its body does not change position. When finished, it steps back. It does not leave immediately. It turns toward the thicket. Only when its shadow disappears behind the brush do the first tracks return. Impala are the first to reach the water's edge. Zebras follow behind. Every position is filled again, but none move close to where the rhino had stood. That zone will remain empty for many hours. The footprints are deep. The ground is sunken. Its scent still lingers in the air. There is no warning, but no one enters. On the dry strip of land between the Dolomite region and Etosha Pond, deep, wide footprints stretch in a single direction. The ground beneath the feet has turned to dusty stone. The surface has been pressed into smooth tracks. A herd of elephants is moving through the semi-arid central zone. They are not heading to the nearest waterhole. They are not stopping at remaining patches of grass. They are crossing a corridor that is completely dry. This is not a daily route. This is a long-range movement. From the northwest Dolomite area to southern Etosha, where groundwater is pumped year-round, the land in between is a thirst corridor. The herd includes many adult individuals. They travel in a spread formation. Larger elephants lead the front. Younger ones stay in the center. Their positions do not change mid-route. The wind ahead carries the scent of cracked soil. Heat rises directly from the surface to the elephants' bodies. Along the way, the herd does not stop to feed. They do not turn towards scattered shrubs. The grass is dry. The plants have lost their moisture. They keep walking. The elephant's physical structure allows them to endure heat. They have few sweat glands. Their skin is thick. Heat-dissipating veins along the ears help release pressure. But their true advantage is moving together without stopping. Each elephant steps firmly. They do not rush. They do not stretch their strides, but their spacing remains even. The entire herd keeps a consistent pace. It is the only rhythm that ensures they reach water before exhaustion. Along the way, they leave nothing behind but footprints. They do not knock down trees. They do not dig for roots. They do not eat fallen fruit. They do not exploit. They clear the way. After each pass, the dust is pressed down. Old paths reappear. Shrubs are brushed. Low grass is split open. These trails become primary paths for other species. Antelope, zebra, ground birds, even low-flying vultures follow them. In Etosha, the ecosystem is split by patches of land that are too dry. If no species dares to cross, the outer zones become disconnected. Elephants form the link. After several hours, the elephants reach softer ground. The soil shows signs of moisture retention. The grass is shorter. There are more low-thorn bushes. They have entered a zone where groundwater lies closer to the surface. No one stops. They move straight toward the waterhole ahead. This waterhole is not large. The level is low. The bank is narrow, but it is the only surface water remaining in this region. Once all have finished drinking, one large elephant walks toward a mound of moist soil. It uses its trunk to gather clumps of mud and throws them onto its back. Others follow. Not all. Only half the herd chooses to mud bathe. That muddy spot becomes a shallow depression. Water begins to pool. Insects arrive. A sequence of behavior has completed, from opening a path, to leading water access, to creating opportunities for other species. This behavior repeats over decades. Each dry season, the same routes reappear. The same small water holes are reopened. Other species follow again. After drinking, the elephants begin to withdraw. They do not return the way they came. They follow a different axis. The lead individual climbs to higher ground and scans for a few seconds, then walks on. The last elephants step into the leader's footprints nearly half an hour later, but they maintain the same direction. At midday, sunlight shines directly onto the southern grasslands of Etosha. A small group of antelope moves slowly along the dry bank of a seasonal stream. There is no adult male in the group. Their movement lacks structure. There is no clear formation. There is no lead individual. They do not maintain fixed spacing. The front individual stops and starts repeatedly. The one behind changes position and moves ahead. They all move in the same direction, but without synchronized signals. Ahead lies an extended open area. There are no shrubs, there are no obstacles, there is no cover. The ground is fully exposed. From a patch of scorched grass in the distance, a leopard lies flat against the ground. Its body is hidden beneath low foliage. There is no visible movement. There is no wind. There is no sound. Only its eyes remain focused. As the antelope group moves closer, the leopard begins to crawl. Its body hugs the ground along the edge. It shortens the distance section by section. It gives no signal. It triggers no reaction. One antelope stops. Its ears rotate slightly, but it does not raise an alarm. It does not change direction. The group keeps moving toward the sparse tree line. When the distance closes further, the leopard leaps. It does not chase the entire group. It targets one small individual drifting to the side. The leap flattens the grass. The group scatters on reflex, but the targeted one cannot escape. The leopard's front legs pull at the prey's hip. Its jaws lock onto the neck. The prey's body collapses sideways. It does not rise. There is no reaction from the rest of the group. Seconds later, the area is quiet again. The leopard drags the body to a nearby thorn bush. It does not eat immediately. It does not follow the herd's path. It does not hunt further. The remaining individuals move toward the low brush. No one looks back. There are no calls. There is no regrouping. The original formation is not restored. In Etosha, small groups lack the capacity for environmental awareness. Fewer individuals reduce the ability to scan surroundings. No one maintains direction. No one holds early response roles. In danger, reactions are individual. Separation does not begin with a kill. It often starts at the waterhole. When large herds arrive together, when spatial pressure forces some individuals to leave, small groups form from this fragmentation. They move off before establishing new structure. Etosha does not preserve every trace, but the survival cycle continues. Every step here carries a cost. Every decision, whether choosing a water source, separating from the herd, or retreating, has a biological consequence. No species exists outside this loop, not the largest, not the newly born. Here there is no line between success and error, only outcome and adaptation. You have just followed the path of survival in one of Africa's harshest and most complex ecosystems. Thank you for joining Wild Expeditions. If you believe this journey is worth sharing, please click like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to catch our next episode. We are committed to bringing you the most real, cinematic, and unforgettable wildlife stories from across the globe. We'll see you in the next video from Wild Expeditions.